Hey polish fans, it's Caroline again and welcome to another video here at Wild Wound Lacquer. In today's video we are going over the Pamper and Polish collection that I spotted from LA Colors at the Dollar Tree. Now I'm not 100% sure if this is an actual collection or just some re-released polishes, but we have 12 total polishes and they each come with a little pot of glitter or rhinestones. So the first one that we're going to look at is Rosy Roses. This is a cream polish in a burgundy shade. It comes with a pot of pink glitters that have a green sheen to them. Now you'll see this one pop up at least a few other polishes because we do get it multiple times, but this is Rosy Roses in the first coat. This one had a pretty decent opacity level, I feel. In the first coat it was a little bit runny. As you can see, I got some there on my cuticles, and I will say it was pretty pigmented. I had to clean that up and you can still see a little bit on my cuticles there. This is Rosy Roses in that second coat, and as you can see it does reach nice opacity. I don't think too many people would need a third coat to reach full opacity on this, although later on I do end up gouging this nail, so I have to come back and do a third coat of this one. Next up is Bursting Joy. This one is a dark pink. I would say this is a deep fuchsia. This one comes with these iridescent flakies, which should be pretty fun, but again, we get about 4 of these throughout the collection. Bursting Joy is our darkest pink, and here we can see it on the nail in the first coat. This one had a pretty good consistency as well, maybe a tiny bit runny, but you do get decent opacity in one coat. I think some nail lengths might be okay with just the one coat, but I did go back for a second coat. And as you can see, you get that beautiful deep cream color. Maybe not the most original color, but I do like this shade. And there is 2 coats of Bursting Joy. The second pink is called Brunch Time. This is more of a watermelon shade, also in a cream formula. And this one came with those pink heart rhinestones. This is Brunch Time in the first coat. This one I think had a bit more of a squishy formula than the previous polish, and as you can see compared to Bursting Joy there on the nail, it has more of that coral lean to it. Here I decided to change my backdrop because I realized that against the turquoise it's kind of hard to see the tonality differences and the true color of the polishes. But here is Brunch Time in 2 coats. This one also got a little bit on my cuticles, as you can see, a little bit of not exactly a super runny formula, but a little on the thin side. But that is Brunch Time in 2 coats. And here I am comparing Brunch Time with Bursting Joy, so you can see the tonal differences again. Bursting Joy is more of a fuchsia, Brunch Time is that watermelon shade. Next up is Over the Sunset, another pink. This one is more on the neon side, and this one also came with a little pot of those iridescent flakies. This is another one that we've gotten previously, so we do end up with, I think, about 4 of these as well. So Over the Sunset is a beautiful bright neon pink in a pretty decent formula. I felt like this was pretty opaque in just that first coat, although I would say that most nail lengths would still need a second coat to reach that full opacity, and as you can see it is a little uneven there on the nail in that first coat. So here it is in a second coat. For my pinky I kept getting a little bit too much polish on the brush with these bottles. But there it is in 2 coats. Again, really nice shade there. And here they are compared: Over the Sunset, Brunch Time, Bursting Joy, and Rosy Roses. Next up is another pink. This one is Pink Miss. This one comes with those same bright pink glitters with the green reflect. So what I found interesting is they do have different numbers on them, but they are basically the same polish. This color also came with a very wonky brush. I had to cut off the rest of that tail. Pink Miss actually had one of these squishier formulas, as you can see there on the nail. This is it in just that first coat. definitely more of a squishy formula than Over the Sunset. So I went back with a second coat of this one. On that second coat, I thought it was nice and opaque, so I just left it at 2 coats. So there is 2 coats of Pink Mist. And here is Over the Sunset compared to Pink Mist, so you can see the differences. Pink Mist is more of a pastel neon, whereas Over the Sunset was definitely a straight up neon bright pink. Next up we have Soft Petals, and this is more like a wedding pink. It also came with those iridescent flakies. And as you can see, it is a soft, delicate, maybe bridal pink. Here it is in 1 coat. This one had somewhere between like a crelly and a jelly formula, as you can see there in 1 coat. And here I am coming back with a second coat of that one to even out the formula and get a bit more opacity. You can also see the difference between the previous polish, which was Pink Mist. There's 2 coats of Soft Petals. The next one is Sugar Crystals. This is the shimmer polish and our first specialty finish. This one came with more of those heart rhinestones. And here it is comparing it to the previous pot of those rhinestones that we got. As far as I can tell, they're basically the same. So Sugar Crystals is a shimmer polish. You see mostly a dark pink, but there are some other subtle shifts to other shades of pink in there as well. Here it is in 1 coat, and I did come back with a dry brush to sort of even out that first coat a little. Here it is with a second coat. Now this one isn't going to reach full opacity, but I do come back with a third coat so that you can see what it looks like. This one definitely is one that I think would work nicely as a topper in this collection since there are so many pinks. And here is that third coat. There, I think you can see some of the shifts to a little bit of purple in there. And there's 3 coats of Sugar Crystals. Next up is another pink. This one is Secret Garden. This is sort of a muted mulberry shade, and it came with more of the pink rhinestones. And here they are comparing all of the heart rhinestones that we've gotten so far, and like I said, as far as I can tell, they are basically the same. So here's the first coat of Secret Garden. This one had a pretty decent consistency as well. I think some shorter nail lengths might be fine with just 1 coat. This one also had a wonky brush as well. I don't know if you can see that, but it's sort of cut at a weird angle. Here is a second coat of Secret Garden. Again, getting a little too much polish on my brush there. This one is kind of an unusual shade for a spring collection, I feel, because it is more of a dusty tone. But I did reach full opacity in 2 coats, so there is 2 coats of Secret Garden. And here are those last 4 polishes compared: Secret Garden, Sugar Crystals, Soft Petals, and Pink Mist. Next up is a lilac. This is Sweet as You. This is another one that came with a pot of those same pink glitters with a green reflect. And here are those pink glitters compared to the other 2 that we've gotten so far. This is a beautiful one for spring, right up my alley. This one had one of the sheerest formulas though, and one of the hardest for me to work with. This is actually my second attempt at painting my little pinky nail. This is me finally realizing that I should probably start from left to right on my nails so that when I show them to you at the end, they are in order of how I swatched them. But as you can see in that first coat, Sweet as You is really rather uneven and pretty sheer on the nail. Here is a second coat, again still getting too much polish on my brush. It does even out a little bit here in that second coat, but still a bit on the sheer side. So I do come back with a third coat of that one to sort of even it out and get more opacity. But again, I absolutely love this color. So there are 3 coats of Sweet as You. Next up is Head in the Clouds. This is actually one of the polishes that caught my attention in the store. This is a periwinkle shade, which is kind of hard to tell in the photos because it's coming off a bit more in the blue tone. It also came with a pot of iridescent flakies, and here it is compared to the other ones. Different numbers on all of them, but they do seem to be the same. So here it is compared to Sunday's number 45, which is a sky blue. So you can see the periwinkle tones in Head in the Clouds. And here is Head in the Clouds in the first coat. This one also had kind of a sheerer formula, a bit on the squishy side. Not quite as sheer as Sweet as You, so I believe I did end up getting full opacity on this one in 2 coats. That second coat really did even things out nicely for me. And this is another color that I absolutely love for spring. I did try to get the corner, but the first coat had already dried, so I did end up with a little bit of a flap there. But there is Head in the Clouds in 2 coats, and I somehow managed to get fuzz in it before I showed you that last shot. Next up is our green. This is Mint Tea, and this also comes with a pot of those hot pink glitters, and yep, I already have 3 of those. So there is the pink glitter with the green reflex. Mint Tea is a beautiful mint shade. This is another one of my favorite shades for spring, so I was very happy to see this in the collection. This also had a bit of a squishy formula. Again, I got fuzz in that first coat, but I am coming back with a second coat to sort of even out the first coat, which was a bit on the sheer side and a bit uneven. This one I did choose to do a third coat as well because it was still uneven in that second coat. Kind of the same formula as Sweet as You, that lavender shade. But that third coat did even things out nicely, and it looks really beautiful. Here is 3 coats of Mint Tea. And here it is compared to, again, that baby blue from Sunday's number 45, so you can see the mint tone. And last but not least, we have another specialty shade. This is Vivid Blooms. This is another one that came with the pink heart rhinestones. And again, a different number, but the same as all of the other heart rhinestones that we got. This one is a glitter topper with these tangerine toned heart glitters, iridescent glitters, and silver metallic hex glitters. Now this one I didn't have any problems getting those heart glitters out, but as you can see, that first heart glitter was sort of stuck inside the brush, so I did end up placing one of the heart glitters from the wand portion of the brush onto the swatch. And there it is in 1 coat. This is definitely one that would not have reached full opacity, so I just did 1 coat, but I am going to show Vivid Blooms over 3 of the polishes from the Orly Spring Collection, just so that you can see how it looks over other colors. And as you can see, the hearts definitely come out nicely. The silver ones are actually the ones that I had a harder time getting more to come out on the nail, but you do get a lot of those iridescent glitters. And there we have it. That is the collection from LA Colors, the Pamper and Polish. Let me know what you thought. I thought we had an awful lot of pinks in this collection. I thought it was a little strange that we did end up with a lot of the same glitters. Also, these pink heart rhinestones I definitely won't be using. I don't like gluing anything like that onto my nails. My favorites were these 2 for sure, the lavender and the periwinkle shade. That was Sweet as You and Head in the Clouds. But I also really, really liked the green one, that mint tea shade. So basically the 3 that I am wearing there in the last hand shot. So let me know what you thought down below. Also, if you're new, make sure to hit the little subscribe button down below, and I will see you in that next video.